What happened? Staring at the area where the creatures had been observing them, Helen felt confused when the monsters had fallen back. She shuddered, remembering their calculative eyes as they slowly moved away from them. Synth rubbed her hair in annoyance. It doesn't make sense. Taking deep breaths as though she were meditating. I don't believe their action was random. It feels too calculative. Sue leaned on her staff, her expression showing her exhaustion. The fight with the monster had drained them, each one knowing what would have happened if the additional monsters had chosen to attack. May turned towards Sue. I worry about the others. Though I want to believe those monsters don't have the ability to strategize, I'd feel better knowing the others are safe. Hearing May's words, Helen snapped her head towards May. It never dawned on her the retreat of the monsters could be connected to Abigail and the others. She cursed internally. How could I be so blind? As though sensing Helen's thoughts. It'll be okay, Helen. The squad leader and Katya are significantly more skilled than we are, so there shouldn't be any immediate danger. There's also a possibility of the monsters not even planning on attacking the others. Katharina attempted to calm Helen's torrential emotions. But what happens if they do? You saw how many monsters there were. If all of us had so much trouble dealing with one of them... Helen felt her anxiety building and telling her to run as fast as she could back to her friends. I agree. I think it's prudent for us to head back. May stepped in to help convince Katharina. Our job was to see if there was anything that could pose a threat. Calmed down from her earlier frustration, especially after hearing the potential strategic reason for the retreat, Synth added her thoughts. Katharina, we should at least make sure they're okay. Her voice had a slight urgency to it. Hearing her team give similar opinions, Katharina grimly nodded her head. I know all of you are spent, but I'll need each one of you to tap into any leftover energy inside of yourself. Let's get back to the others with haste. Each of them nodded their heads to Katharina's words. Helen felt newfound energy surging inside of her, encouraged by Katharina's words and the others feeling a similar sense of caution about the strange behavior of the monsters. Katharina was the first to begin running back the way they came. Understanding her current strength, Helen was quick to follow after Katharina. When she glanced back, she saw Synth and Sue had taken up their position on either side of Katharina and forming a triangle. May was in the center and following close behind Helen. Remembering when they had first started the scouting mission, it felt strange as they ran along the path. The grassy fields on either side whizzed by as their steps propelled them forward. While they journeyed forth, it felt as though the world was a paradise. Though she could feel a hidden darkness, what they encountered was disproportionate to what they sensed. What do you think we should do? Jennifer turned to look at the group, confusion plastered on her face. The girl, named Abigail, had passed out in exhaustion. The red liquid they had given her hadn't removed the pile-on stress. They had watched as the girl appeared distressed by the news of the world being a simulation. Her adamant refusal to believe their words was a surprise. Han turned to observe how Jimin and her companions reacted to the news. Judging by their body language, Jimin appeared agitated by some thought. Both Liz and Vanessa moved closer as though something was being discussed amongst the three girls. Jackie glared at the three. If you guys know something, then spit it out. Her teeth bared, annoyed by their behavior during the entire mission. Jimin didn't react to Jackie's savage tone, as though she let the ferocity wash over her. After a moment had passed, Jimin must have gotten tired by the stares she was receiving. This is something not known aside from the veterans and those in leadership positions. It was only a suspicion, but based on new information recently received, it's understandable for the girl to have reacted in such a manner. Shaking her head, I don't understand. Ivy stared at the woman. Ruby, next to her, also appeared bewildered by the statement. Turning her head to the two girls, it felt as though Jimin was staring at them. This place, where we train, isn't a simulation. Everything we've been doing here is having a direct impact on the world. His mom looked at the girl before facing Jimin. But how can that be possible? If this place isn't a simulation, does that mean we've been dying? Hearing the revelation, Jaehwa was the one to have the most significant reaction. That doesn't make any sense. That's impossible. She shook her head as though hoping to dismiss the thoughts from her mind. Tears began to form in her eyes. I'm assuming that Star and Moon figured out some way for us to be resurrected. Han placed a hand on his chin, contemplating the information. Is that even a thing? That's beyond anything I can imagine. Harmony frowned. Jackie tilted her head. I don't know if that's as crazy as it sounds. It's like a thought constantly being brought to mind. Like the training rooms, the arena, and everything connected to Star and Moon. Her mouth opened as though wanting to say more but stopped. Breathing in before starting again. It connects with what Han had told us back in that forest, and how we're able to use abilities never seen before. Something tells me that Star and Moon is hiding information from us. Things are tying in too smoothly together. What is it? Lacey urged her friend. Shifting her eyes to look at Lacey. I just don't know whether the secret is for our benefit or... The mood dropped upon listening to Jackie's theories, supported by what Han and Jimin had said. Each person was pensive and grim, not enjoying the idea of their circumstances being orchestrated by Star and Moon. The first person to speak up was Jennifer. This topic is too big for us to discuss at the moment. Looking at the fainted girl, I'm worried about the others. This girl, Abigail, mentioned. I think we should quickly make our way to where they are. Jennifer's face clearly showed the worry and concern for those in trouble. I feel the same. But how are we going to find them? His mother looked back at the way the girl had burst out from between the tall grass. Raising her arm with a mischievous grin. I can do it. Lulu had a typical childish mannerism, unfazed by the depressing news. Tracking is something simple for me. There were so many times back when... Lacey quickly elbowed Lulu just as she was about to continue speaking. As Lulu was bowled over, trying to catch her breath, Han internally grinned. He still enjoyed how those in Jackie's group continued to hide their past. It was already apparent they had an ulterior motive for arriving at the university. The question was how much longer they could put on their charade before they were forced to reveal their agenda. Hiding the grin inside of him, Han put on a grim expression. Lulu, if you're able to track them, we should leave now. We'll take turns carrying the girl to save time. Looking at Jimin, what are your thoughts on this? It's not like we won't run into the same issues this girl's group ran into, so I don't see an issue with saving them. It'll allow us to gain experience battling, in addition to finding out whether this place is a simulation or not. The theory is great, but I prefer having tangible proof. Jimin shrugged his shoulders, uncaring about the group they were saving and whether they were still alive. Shaking his head at the woman, Han turned his attention to the others. If any of you have thoughts about this matter, I suggest we leave it to while we're traveling instead of using up more precious time. Each of them nodded at Han's words, their helmets quickly covering their heads as he got ready. Han motioned for Lulu to lead the way. Lulu nodded, a silly grin on her face, before she ran into the tall grass towards an unknown fate for the group.